should I take the vaccine for COVID-19? With Pfizer releasing multiple doses and potential side effects, I don't know what to believe with all of the information that's being spewed out on social media.
It's dangerous. We need to stand up now in South Africa before they do it to our children.
On official news websites and YouTube channels, for real, guys, I want to know.
My name's Dr. Sean Brooks, PhD. Dr. Robert Malone, who created the messenger RNA vaccine, has said no one should ever take these jabs, ever. Under any circumstance whatsoever. He created it, and he says don't ever do it. So let me explain what's going to happen to the people who have taken it.
And I think there are a lot of people out there who also want to know, what should you think about this vaccine and what can we tell from what's being said? This video is all about that. I'm going to take you with me on the journey in terms of my decision about the vaccine. I'm going to share with you what I've been exposed to in the community WhatsApp groups, what I've been exposed to searching on YouTube, what you've been searching for according to what Google has been notifying me about. And it's going through the roof right now. There's no way to avoid it. Conversations like last night at my Tinder date, the lady across from us couldn't help but share her opinion while we were talking about this thing. So obviously people feel very strongly about this, and personally I am going to do my best to not come across aggressively. In fact, to provide a neutral platform, guys. In fact, God please be with me and every single one over here to really just take the time, see the content that's before us, and respectfully make our decisions. And honestly, being respectful of COVID and the fact that it is sensitive to each and every one of us. I can't emphasize it enough. Personally, how either loss or COVID directly has impacted me and the people I love and know, and the people I love who they love. It's insane, guys. So we know it's real. Wherever you are, it's probably a real thing. This what you've experienced, this insane, guys, it's hectic. So we're going to play out the content. I'm going to show you all of the relevant points. I'm going to try and keep it to the point for you, but also enough for you to understand where I'm coming from in terms of making my decision, because that's what this video is about. What do I think about it? And honestly, I would love to hear what you guys think about it as well. So please use the comment section. But with that being said, I'm actually going to jump into the content right now, and as I go through it, actually process it and share with you the valuable points that I find in it. So thank you very much, and engage with this video. I want to hear. This is a video for discussions, so please be respectful of one another as well, and let's get into this content.
After we have been exposed to an infection, our immune system remembers the threat, in particular by producing antibodies. Vaccines mimic this process, encouraging the immune system to make antibodies without us having to go through the illness. Some of the leading SARS-CoV-2 vaccine candidates are mRNA vaccines, based on incorporating the genetic blueprint for the key spike protein on the virus surface into a formula that, when injected into humans, instructs our own cells to make the spike protein. In turn, the body then makes antibodies against the spike protein, and they protect us against viral infection. Once a potential vaccine is discovered, a number of checkpoints exist before it can be administered to people. Upon successful completion of clinical trials, the vaccine candidate must be reviewed and approved by regulatory agencies such as the FDA before large-scale manufacturing and distribution gets underway and the licensed vaccine is administered widely.
We start today with the FDA fully approving Pfizer's COVID vaccine. NBC News senior medical correspondent Dr. John Torres joining me now. Dr. John, this is the first COVID vaccine to get full approval. Can you explain the difference between emergency authorization and full authorization for the folks at home? What does this mean for them?
We have 3 vaccines right now that have the emergency authorization, the emergency use authorization, and that was given back December, January timeframe, a little after that. When they measured that and when they looked at the data there, their main point was to make sure that it was safe and effective and it outweighed the dangers of COVID itself. And so it was a little bit more of a lenient process. Well, now fast forward to August, and what they wanted are these companies to give them 6 months of data after their human trial volunteers ended up getting their vaccine. The FDA went through, crunched all the data, and they did a few things. Number 1, made sure it's safe. Number 2, make sure it's effective. But number 3, they're also looking at the manufacturing plants, the factories, to make sure that those are up to snuff, that the quality of those factories and what they're putting out is sufficient. And they're going to make sure that these manufacturers follow patients for the next months and years to make sure it remains safe. The difference there, probably the big difference for people overall, is this is a permanent approval. This is something that doesn't just happen during the pandemic, but it's permanent. And like most other medications, you're going to see it being able to be ordered through your doctor's office, given to you at pharmacies like it is now, but even more so.
So, Dr. John, the Pfizer vaccine only started rolling out last December. There are some concerns that this approval is happening a little bit too fast. Here's the FDA's acting commissioner addressing that today.
We want to underscore that our efforts to move as quickly as possible have in no way sacrificed scientific standards or the integrity of our process.
What's your take, Dr. John? How would you explain this one to a concerned patient who thinks, man, that happened quick?
It typically takes them 5 months to fully approve it. And that's because it's a small department, small part of the FDA that does that, and they do it on their own time scale. Well, he said now because of the pandemic and the fact they need these vaccines, they're putting all hands on deck. They ended up putting a lot of resources into getting this approved, and they wanted to do it safely, effectively, with the same standards they had before, but much faster by putting a lot more help in there, a lot more manpower in there. And that's what they did. And that's why they were able to do it in 3 months instead of 5 months.
It was alarming to understand, or to feel at least, that we were in this alone for so long.
Biotech company Moderna stocks soaring this week on news it delivered the first batch of its potential vaccine.
We say, look, it's a good opportunity to try to help and try to see how fast we can go.
Pfizer and Moderna were in this, and they were both driving really hard toward a goal that had never been accomplished before.
It's nice to have people following in your footsteps. It's uncomfortable to have people following your footsteps.
You can't be concerned about what others are doing.
The U.S. death toll now stands at 14.
There's the circuit breaker, 25, 49, 48, and the bell. So we'll wait here.
We calculated that we could come up within a few weeks with a number of vaccine candidates.
Frankly, I didn't know that it would work until the last moment, until November 8th.
As everybody is rooting both of these companies on, it's also this fascinating dynamic of a David versus a Goliath trying to save the world.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to point out that this vaccine is experimental. It has never been approved by any department because it cannot be approved because it's dangerous. Children are being forced to get vaccinated overseas. We need to stand up now in South Africa before they do it to our children. People are getting blood clots, people are getting tremors, people are dying from this vaccine. The man Bill Gates, who's been running this whole thing from the beginning, he patented the vaccine before there was ever a coronavirus. So he planned this, all right? So now we need to protect our children. More children die from flu than the supposed COVID virus, okay? So why are we masking our children? Do you know how damaging that is for a child psychologically and physically to have a mask on all day? Okay, we're breathing in our own carbon dioxide. We are harming our children. For what? They're telling you there's a virus so they can inject you with something that they've been planning to inject with us for years. They're planning this. It's depopulation. There's too many people on the planet. Let's give them something that can slowly kill them. It makes you sterile. People countless women have lost their children, have had miscarriages through the vaccine.
My name's Dr. Sean Brooks, PhD. I have 48 publications, including 23 books. I've studied health, medicine, anatomy, and physiology for approximately 21 years. Dr. Robert Malone, who created the messenger RNA vaccine, has said no one should ever take these jabs ever, under any circumstance whatsoever. He created it, and he says don't ever do it. So let me explain what's going to happen to the people who have taken it. The people who have taken it are going to die in the next 6 months to 3 to 5 years for 3 reasons. Number one, you have dramatically decreased your own immune system by 35%. The first jab did it by at least 15. The second did it by 35 now. If you take any booster shot, you will die. That's it. You take a flu shot in the future, you will die.
Hey Sheldon, here's my take on the vaccines. We got the COVID virus in January. We had it, both my wife and I, and we suspect my daughter might have had it as well, but she wasn't tested, so it's likely that it could have been something else. My wife got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. I got shot number 1 of the Pfizer. I have 2 weeks to go, then I can go for shot number 2. And here's why I'm saying I'm pro-vaccine. With my wife working in frontline, we've lost so many people to COVID. And knowing that if I get sick, get COVID again, I got one strain, there's a whole handful of different strains. I don't know which strain I'm going to get, and I don't know whether one of those strains can be fatal for me. I know what my symptoms was on the one strain that I had, but I also know that every time you get the same strain, your body reacts differently. So I could get the same thing again, the exact same strain of virus, and this might affect me differently than it did the first time. So I don't know whether this thing will kill me or not. I still don't know. Most people will only get mild symptoms, and that was our case. We had what is considered mild symptoms. But I don't know if maybe the Delta or the Lambda variant will actually kill me. No, that's one thing we don't know. But one thing I do know is that I'm grateful for social distancing. I'm grateful for isolating. I'm grateful for having to wear a mask. I'm grateful for not being able to attend a live event.
Sure. Guys, I don't know. I'm actually scared to even ask the question, is this thing safe? Because even now you can see at the bottom of this video on YouTube, there is a WHO report on. So there's obviously a clear narrative, and it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense to combat the virus globally, and I don't feel like I need to ask questions because you have the WHO and all of the relevant parties signing off on it. And I mean, we don't ask what's inside our McDonald's burger. We buy the burger, you know? And that's essentially the thinking. But then it gets to a point where you literally cannot oversee, you literally cannot miss these messages, these videos about people speaking about, you know, the side effects and all of this. And right now in South Africa, this vaccine became available to over 18s. And so I fall in this category, and friends of mine are taking it. So when people are saying that in 6 months, you're going to be dying, you know, you're going to be dead in 6 months, I start to be concerned. And so right now, I want to wait, and I want to see what the results are going to be. And like, if there's truth in what we see over here, then you should be seeing results. I know a lot of people who have gone and taken the vaccine, and really, if I want to see any truth in what these people say, it will obviously show in the next 6 months. That being said, I don't feel like the vaccine is a chip from hell. Honestly, I don't feel like it's sent from Satan. And I mean, I don't know about this was all being developed before COVID was actually a thing. If you see some of the content there, I really want to encourage you guys to take a look at the videos in full. There are a few of these videos that I showed you that were actually on YouTube that weren't necessarily from WhatsApp groups. So if you're asking yourself, is the Pfizer vaccine safe? Are there side effects? I mean, you'll find a lot of stuff if you search for it. Honestly, these days, anything you want to know, you can go and find. There's so much stuff out there, guys. True, untrue. It could be biased. It could be fake news. And just telling for yourself, what is the truth? And that's really what I'm trying to do here. I mean, we've got news agencies and people sharing stories. And I mean, there's so much going on. There's so much information. How do we tell for ourselves? So for me personally, my decision is to wait it out and to see, but also to engage with people and to have conversations, open ones, guys, not hostile conversations. Guys, I know this is a very heated topic. Vax, anti-vax. I mean, a lot of people are advocating for it. It's obviously the thing to get vaccinated, and being proactive and, you know, taking a risk despite what everyone is saying. Because the way I see it, some people who are vaccinated or want to get vaccinated only hear and see what all the negative that's being spoken about it, and then vice versa, the people who think, you know, all of this is wrong. Every news platform and every mainstream platform, you see the narrative is very clear in that way, that it's to get vaccinated. So it's very confusing with all of this media, and I just want to create this platform for people like me who also want to work their way through this. And so, yeah, we can do it. We can do it together. I know that sounds super cliche, but it's literally the truth. So comments down below and share with me what your thoughts are on this. I'd love to hear from you. And yes, thank you guys very much for watching this video and for taking interest. Should you take the vaccine or shouldn't you? And just knowing a little bit more about the brands involved and the market. And I really wanted to give you an overview of what's going on here because there's so much media out there, and just condense it nicely for you. So drop a like or a dislike, and please drop a comment to explain your thoughts on the matter. Anything during this video, there was so much you could comment on, for real. I'm actually very interested to see how the comments pan out. But yeah, thank you guys. And for the most part, my content is a lot more lighthearted than this. You can go take a look. I love South Africa and showcasing the beauty over here. This is obviously just something very relevant to South Africa and the world right now, and it's very close to my heart. Really, this keeps me up at night. I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about you guys. You know, I'm being serious, and yeah. So let's see how this goes and talk about it together. Our way, guys. Cheers.